Before we begin, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below. Your support helps us create more amazing psychology content for you. Now, let's get started. Simple psychological tricks that actually work. Human behavior is often influenced by subtle psychological patterns that most people are not even aware of. The interesting part is that you don't need advanced knowledge of psychology to use these techniques in your everyday life. Simple psychological tricks, when used correctly, can improve your communication, make you more likable, and even help you influence situations in your favor. These are not manipulative tools if used ethically, but rather smart ways to understand human nature and interact more effectively with others. In this video, we will explore simple psychological tricks that actually work and can be applied immediately in real-life situations. One powerful trick is the concept of mirroring. This means subtly copying the body language, tone, or speaking style of the person you are interacting with. When someone sees their behavior reflected back at them, it creates a sense of familiarity and comfort. This is because humans naturally trust people who seem similar to them. For example, if someone speaks slowly and calmly, and you match that tone, they will subconsciously feel more connected to you. However, the key is to keep it natural and not overdo it, as obvious imitation can have the opposite effect. Another effective technique is using the power of silence. Most people feel uncomfortable with silence in conversations and rush to fill the gap by talking more. You can use this to your advantage by simply staying quiet after asking a question or making a statement. The other person will often reveal more information than they intended just to break the silence. This trick is especially useful in negotiations, interviews, or when trying to understand someone's true thoughts. The foot in the door technique is another classic psychological strategy that works surprisingly well. It involves starting with a small request that is easy to agree to, and then gradually moving to a bigger request. Once someone agrees to something small, they are more likely to agree to something larger because they want to stay consistent with their previous behavior. For instance, if you ask someone for a small favor and they say yes, they are more likely to help you with something bigger later on. Similarly, the door-in-the-face technique works in the opposite way. You start by asking for something big that is likely to be refused, and then follow up with a smaller, more reasonable request. The second request feels easier in comparison, and people are more likely to agree to it. This works because of a psychological principle called contrast effect, where the second option appears more acceptable after the first one. Using people's names during conversation is another simple but powerful trick. A person's name is deeply connected to their identity, and hearing it creates a sense of importance and attention. When you use someone's name while speaking to them, it makes the interaction more personal and engaging. However, it should be used naturally and not excessively, as overuse can sound forced or artificial. Another effective method is maintaining eye contact. Eye contact builds trust, shows confidence, and signals that you are genuinely interested in the conversation. People are more likely to listen to and believe someone who maintains steady eye contact. However, it is important to balance it, as too much eye contact can feel intimidating, while too little can make you seem uninterested or insecure. The principle of reciprocity is also a powerful psychological tool. It is based on the idea that people feel obligated to return favors. When you do something kind or helpful for someone, they naturally feel the need to repay you in some way. This can be as simple as giving a compliment, offering help, or doing a small favor. Over time, this builds stronger relationships and increases cooperation. Another trick that works well is the use of positive labeling. When you label someone with a positive trait, they tend to live up to that label. For example, if you tell someone, "You're really responsible," they are more likely to behave responsibly in the future. This works because people want to be consistent with how they are perceived by others. It's a subtle way of encouraging desired behavior without direct pressure. Timing also plays a crucial role in psychology. Asking for favors or making requests when someone is in a good mood significantly increases your chances of getting a positive response. People are more agreeable and open when they feel happy or relaxed. On the other hand, trying to persuade someone when they are stressed or distracted often leads to rejection. The peak end rule is another fascinating psychological concept. It suggests that people judge an experience largely based on how they felt at its peak moment and at the end, rather than the entire experience. This means if you want to leave a lasting impression, focus on creating a strong positive moment and ending the interaction on a high note. Whether it's a conversation, presentation, or meeting, the ending matters more than you think. Nodding while someone is speaking is another subtle but effective trick. It encourages the speaker to continue talking and makes them feel heard and understood. It also increases the likelihood that they will agree with you when it's your turn to speak. This simple gesture can significantly improve communication and connection. People also respond strongly to confidence. Even if you are not 100% sure, presenting your ideas with confidence makes others more likely to believe in you. Confidence signals authority and credibility. However, it should not turn into arrogance, as that can push people away instead of attracting them. Another interesting technique is giving limited choices instead of open-ended questions. For example, instead of asking, "Do you want to do this?" you can ask, "Do you want to do this today or tomorrow?" This makes it easier for the other person to decide and increases the chances of agreement because the focus shifts from whether to when. The use of storytelling is also a powerful psychological tool. People connect more deeply with stories than with plain facts. When you present your ideas in the form of a story, it becomes more engaging, memorable, and persuasive. Stories trigger emotions, and emotions play a major role in decision-making. Another simple trick is smiling. A genuine smile can instantly make you appear more approachable, friendly, and trustworthy. It also has a positive effect on your own mood, creating a win-win situation. People are naturally drawn to those who make them feel comfortable and positive. Lastly, understanding that people love to talk about themselves can give you an advantage in conversations. When you show genuine interest in someone's thoughts, experiences, or opinions, they feel valued and appreciated. This builds stronger connections and makes people more open to you. In conclusion, these simple psychological tricks are easy to use but incredibly powerful when applied correctly. They are not about manipulation but about understanding human behavior and improving your interactions with others. By practicing these techniques in your daily life, you can become more confident, persuasive, and socially effective. The key is to use them ethically and genuinely, as authenticity is what truly builds lasting relationships.